You know the feeling when you're driving and you hit a red light, and not just a red light, but every single red light on your commute? Or even when you're on the highway, traffic's just flowing freely, you listen to your music, maybe your favorite podcast, and all of a sudden you have to slam on your brakes because out of nowhere congestion just pops up. Or even better yet, maybe you're in that congestion and you think, maybe I can get on the shoulder and use that as a way to get home. Okay, don't do that because those shoulders have a purpose for emergencies and breakdowns. That's why today I'm showing you 5 technologies that help mitigate traffic that cities and agencies are using right now, and one technology that's making its way around and becoming more prevalent. Welcome back to Take That Moves Us. I'm Marcos, a guy and huge fan of transportation technology and loves to talk about stuff that gets us from point A to point B. All right, let's move over to technology number 1. We're gonna focus on the signals. Let's imagine for a second that traffic signals did more than just go from red to yellow to green. Let's think about if traffic signals could make a logical and thoughtful decision about the traffic it's seeing and adjust its timing accordingly. Well, I bring that up because a lot of signals use time of day phasing, which, as the name suggests, is using a schedule for that time of day for every hour of the day based on a set time. Sometimes, with schedules and plans, they don't typically go as you think. So, when you have congestion, these schedules may not be able to keep up with that congestion. However, our first technology is adaptive traffic signals, and it is used to help mitigate that situation. It does that by using data from sensors, from connected vehicle data, sometimes cameras, and together, it helps you get through that red light faster. Well, no, it doesn't get through the red light faster. It actually changes the green light so you can get through that green light a little bit smoother. Another way of saying this is, if you're approaching a signal and it sees you coming and it's already green, well, it will extend that green for you if it doesn't see any opposing traffic. Another way of looking at this is, if it's red and it sees you approaching, and it sees there's no opposing traffic, okay, well, let's change the green light for you. When you start bringing all these adaptive signals together down one corridor, then it kind of elevates that to a smart corridor. Now, traffic signals are not the only thing that makes a corridor smart. It takes a multitude of various devices, such as Internet of Things devices, detectors, cameras, sometimes smart street lights, which we will discuss in a later video. Now, with that bringing together, you have communication networks, fiber optics or cellular data, 5G, sometimes you may have a point-to-point system. Well, that just helps the traffic flow smoother, adjusting all that phasing in real time, which helps you hit nothing but green on your commute. The reason we like adaptive traffic signals and cities like adaptive traffic signals is because it helps reduce congestion in your travel times by 20%. All this without adding a single lane. Now, that's a way to get you to your destination much faster. As we roll into our second technology, we're gonna show a little bit of love to the public transit system. The buses that are on your commute home, they actually help reduce congestion on the road. However, they get stuck in the same congestion that we do when we're driving. So sometimes you're sitting at a signal and you see a bus approach is able to continue forward through that signal. And you may get a little frustrated like, okay, well, that has a green light. Why am I still sitting here on this red light? Well, that's our second technology. It's called transit signal priority, and it works in a few ways. One of those ways is by the bus talking to the signal and saying, I'm approaching, please hold that green light for me so I can get through and be on time. The signal says, of course, I have you covered. Or if the signal's red and the bus says, I'm on my way, please change that signal to red for me. The signal's like, okay, I have you covered. The signal's giving that transit system priority based on the communication and timing. But there's also a different aspect of this. It's called bus rapid transit lanes. And these lanes are dedicated lanes just for those buses. Sometimes you see these BRT lanes in the center of the roadway, and they have their own separate phasing and timing for that. So each of these approaches may seem like a very small gesture. However, it actually improves the travel times for these transit systems by 10 to 15%. So when you're seeing those buses glide through, getting a green light or those BRTs, that's an opportunity for you maybe to use public transit, but also understand that's not the system playing you. It's just transit signal priority doing its job, giving a little small boost to our transit system. All right, now we're on number 3. And this is more a software-based approach to how cities use technology to mitigate traffic. If we want to do any changes to any roadways or even retiming signals, we need to model or simulate what that's going to look like when these changes occur. Now, personally, I have not used any of these softwares, but I know very experienced traffic engineers who have drawn these virtual roads that can simulate all this traffic. This magic is created by software like Synchro, Visum, and Visum. And it can simulate various scenarios, over 100 of what-if scenarios, if you were to change the signal timing, if you were to add a turn lane, if you were to remove a lane, or even go through construction phasing to determine how the traffic volumes or impacts would occur. These simulation models, they help the agencies avoid expensive mistakes and get traffic improvements right the first time. We're now on number 4, and we're moving back to this hardware space. Now let's consider you're driving on the highway, hopefully not speeding, listen to your favorite music, and then traffic stops suddenly. No warning, no clue why, it's just chaos. Well, that's not congestion, that's a surprise. And that's where our key warning systems comes into play to help reduce that surprise. So here's a quick summary of how the system works. There are multiple detectors set up along a corridor. These detectors monitor volumes and speed in real time. So if speeds just suddenly drop, say from like 65 miles an hour to 25 miles an hour, then the system sends up an automatic message to these dynamic message signs warning of queuing ahead. There's also a manual option where it gets sent to a traffic management center so they can confirm the event with cameras and then send that same message about queuing ahead. Those messages can provide alternative routes or a warning to safely reduce speed without panic braking. The goal of the system is to reduce those rear-end collisions and also improve the traffic flow to keep congestion from building up. These systems have been installed and used in various scenarios, such as freeway or highway merge points or decision points, curves or hills that have a limited sight distance, or in construction or work zones. And under this scenario, these are called smart work zones. And as a public service announcement, please slow down when you're driving in construction zones. Protect our workers. They're out there trying to make our roads better and safer for us all. So here's the truth. Unexpected braking causes a significant amount of crashes. That may not be a surprise to anybody, but it's good to say that. So isn't it better when you can know there's congestion building up, be warned to slow down? It makes your commute feel smoother, safer, calmer. It's not magic, it's just effective communication, which not only works on our roads, but it really helps in personal relationships too. We're at number 5 on this list, and now we're gonna talk about the shoulders. I kind of alluded to the shoulders by saying stay off of them, but what if there's a solution for using those shoulders, but only when needed? And there's a name for that. It's called hard shoulder running. So let's talk about how it works. During normal or low traffic periods, the shoulders work as they're planned, to be for emergency situations and for you to pull off if there's something going on with your vehicle. During rush hours or some unplanned event, now those lanes become active and we can turn those lanes on with a switch. Not really a switch, but you get the gist. So the shoulders open up as a travel lane. Those dynamic message signs or DMSs overhead alert travelers that the lane is open. This is probably one of the smartest ways to increase throughput without having to spend funding on expanding the lane. And since these lanes are controlled by dynamic message signs, then it can be open or closed instantly depending on if there's some other issue that arises, such as a crash is detected, or there's debris in the road, or the visibility just changes. Think of it as on-demand lane expansion, not permanent, not reckless, it's just smart. We've made through our list of the 5 technologies that cities, agencies are using to help mitigate traffic and make your commute just a little bit better. And as we continue, wait, I forgot about one more, the bonus one. Let's talk about V2X, or vehicle to everything. Now, this is where cars, people, pedestrians, everything else under infrastructure starts talking to each other. Now, what does V2X include? Several items. It includes V2V, so vehicle to vehicle. Think of it as cars having a quick chat, sending a quick message to each other that broadcasts about every 10 seconds. Vehicle to infrastructure. This is where the vehicles are talking to the public infrastructure, to the traffic signals, to the street lights, sometimes to the message signs. Also V2P, or vehicle to pedestrian. This is when a vehicle has a conversation with a pedestrian or a person holding the phone or a wearable. It's like giving every road user a voice, and the road is actually smart enough to listen. Every technology that I covered so far today makes traffic management smarter. But V2X, it makes the entire transportation system self-aware. Cars, roads, and people all communicating on this same digital frequency called safety. It's the ultimate step in transportation, and it's going to refine or redefine how cities move forward. V2X, it's not really about smart cars, it's about smarter cities that talk back. Now we got through our list, including a little highlight of V2X. As we come to the end of this video, I want to ask you a question. Which one of these technologies have you seen or would you like to see in your drive or your walk in your city? Let me know in the comments below. Please like the video, subscribe, and I look forward to more deep dives about transportation technology and tech that moves us.